It's a rhetorical question. So the answer is they are wealthier in the United States. And they are wealthier in the United States for multiple reasons, and there is no one single reason. If you go to Brazil, if you go to Europe, inputs are very important. If you don't start with the right input, you will probably not be able to get the output that you want. In places like India, in China, we have other problems where the outputs don't get the right price for the produce. But we believe that it's quite important that, yes, we cannot price seeds at the price of gold, but if each of these seeds is giving you a return to the farmer which is far excessive of what they're investing, then it's probably okay, because this is really where it all starts. By the way, the seeds that this company produces, it produces for Netherlands. And if you know, Netherlands is one of the biggest exporters of high quality produce around the world. It's a small little country and it exports it. But that's because they have technology. They have good greenhouses. They put good seeds into their greenhouses. And they finally get the produce for it. So, India has to find a way to democratically provide high quality inputs to its farmers. But those challenges need to be overcome, because I do not see how you can have lower quality inputs and solve that problem. In fact, it's an ironic situation if you think about it. In Asia, we have more people working in agriculture than in the Americas. But we still import our food. We import our food from that part of the world. Look at China. By the way, India is going to sooner or later get into an import problem as well. But India's problem is water. We just don't have water. And then I think it's my personal view is India exporting basmati rice to Middle East does not make any sense. But coming back to your original questions, I think it's that mentality that we have to that is required to change. That you have to invest into agriculture to reap the benefits. This is not a God-given that everything will come free. Yes, there have been issues with GMO and Monsanto and all of that in places like India. The idea is not to repeat those problems, but how can you provide better quality inputs? Because that's what is going to lead probably farmers at least to have sustainable incomes.
But for that, you also need to have a very aggressive advocacy at different levels. To drive this point into the farmers, government, NGOs, and other people also.
Yeah, and it's right. Unfortunately, sometimes the government has right intentions but the wrong tools to lead to that. In agriculture, the biggest subsidy providing industry around the world is agriculture. Whether it's in France, whether it's in India, whether it's in China, whether it's in the United States. But we also have an industry which should probably be a solution to climate change rather than being accentuating climate change. So a lot of the government subsidies tend to be misdirected. They create market distortions. They create farmers who depend on government rather than actually getting away from governments around there. So you're absolutely right, the ecosystem needs to be there. But what we feel, Swamitra, is that things are changing. In the last 5 years, while yes, you see these big companies becoming bigger, there is a big ecosystem of small companies coming in. Younger entrepreneurs who are setting up companies which have a purpose. Of course, they have to create valuations, they have to make money. But some of these companies are not with that old mindset. And I think there's a chance where we could have better solutions coming in a more demographic way. Some of you are from Hong Kong. We have the founder here from a company called XAG Ag. It's a drone company in China. Very interesting company. We had a video and the founder here, and he shared how he's going about bringing drone technology to China. And the government, by the way, over there is playing a role. They actually want to give subsidy to farmers to use drones. Unfortunately, that is creating a distortion because he has a product which is very good, but because the government is giving a subsidy, a lot of low quality producers are putting a product in the market which is not very good out there. So sometimes these subsidies tend to be misdirected, but mindsets need to be changed. And I feel that with a newer group of companies, younger companies, which are coming out there, we probably have a revival of this sector to become more responsible in terms of environmental focus as well as in terms of the consumer focus that is required. Go ahead. Come back to that.
Okay. So far, Temasek investing in the two local vertical farming companies in Singapore, right?
One of them right now.
One right now. But there are over 30 vertical farms in
That's right.
Singapore, right?
That's right.
So my question is, how do you view the market competition and market future in vertical?
Yeah, I think it's early days to say how it will develop. They are right. There are 30 companies. They're in various stages of operations. The one company that we have invested in, Sustainair, we think is quite advanced. They actually have a product in the market. You can go to cold storage as well as to FairPrice and buy the Sustainair kale, arugula. They probably have strawberry in the market very soon as well. Strawberry produced in Singapore, which is going to be rather than bringing it from Japan and Latin America. So there will be competition, and competition is good because it will push the envelopes on technology. It will push the envelopes on price coming down. In fact, in Singapore, we probably have Singapore and Dubai are the places where we can have vertical farms be cost competitive, because we import everything. Everything comes from Malaysia on a truck, whereas we can have vertical farms over here which can provide just-in-time food to the restaurants, to the groceries. In fact, you can order it through your app and 2-hour delivery. Why do you need it to be harvested? So competition is in a way good, which is there. But like everything else, a lot of people will get in, some people will burn their hands and exit the industry, and the guys who have technology, who have good competitive advantages will be able to do that. And we monitor the sector quite closely, but it's again early days. Today I'm not worried about competition. In 5 years later, maybe competition is an issue.
But some vertical farms in the United States and Canada shut down due to the high cost. So I just wonder, what is your portfolio company, Sustainair's portfolio?
Yes, so good question. So first of all, Singapore is different from United States, and I'll come to United States, why it makes sense in the United States as well. So, see, vertical farming will eventually have to bring the cost down, but today it also is providing a product that is better. And the initial success of vertical farms probably will be because of a better product. The product tastes better, it is closer, so supply chain costs are lower. In places like Singapore, where we import everything, vertical farms already have a benefit because they can operate locally. So the chances that vertical farms can operate in places like Dubai and Singapore are already higher because we don't have a local production system out there. So we think Singapore probably will be cost competitive sooner. Now let's go to places like United States. United States, Canada have a lot of land. There's no dearth of land over there. So then why do you need vertical farms is the question. The reason is, if you look at the US, a lot of the production of these vegetables and crops happens in certain parts of the United States. They also have a huge labor issue attached in the United States now. In fact, 60% of the tomatoes that are consumed in supermarkets around the United States are all produced in Mexico. And that's because you can have labor over there. So the reasons why vertical farms will work over there is because of labor issues, because of issues around the concentration of production in certain areas and being very far away from other areas as well. And the third dimension which will come up is that through vertical farms, we can actually produce products that are different. So, as you know, in vertical farms, we can control all the aspects of it. We can change the lighting of the lighting frequency, lighting wavelengths. And what we have realized is that by changing the frequencies, the wavelength, the nutrients that you provide, you actually can taste both the nutritional composition of the food you eat, but also the taste profile. So using lighting, you can actually make your produce crispier or more scalable in terms of shelf life. So these innovations are only beginning to happen. And that's when vertical farms will be able to differentiate themselves from the open field vegetables that are grown over there. So we feel that innovation is only beginning to come in, where using vertical farms you can come up with products that you actually cannot come up with if you're growing in the open field.
So I'm not clear. So then for that, let's question. So you mean the Singapore's developed the vertical farms is focused on the products, the better products. But in the United States and Canada, because the lack of the labor is very expensive, that's why they developed the.
So that's right. So today in US and Canada is because of labor issues and logistic issues where production in certain areas. But in the future, in the US and Europe, in Western markets, it's going to be the products that vertical farms can create, which are differentiated products than products that can be created in the open field farming system. So you will have products that you can have health benefits associated with it, high oxidant kale, which you can actually put it on the label, because in a vertical farm we can control the parameters that go into it, whereas in the open field we cannot do that. So eventually vertical farms will be able to offer a better product or a different product than what you get today in the shelves. Sorry,
I just wanted to ask about the divesting from palm oil. Are there any technologies you're spotting now in the palm oil sector that might help make it more sustainable, that might bring Temasek back into that sector?
So, as I said, look, our investments, our divestment in palm oil was driven by certain considerations, which was it is at the end of the business that we owned was a palm oil plantation. Buy a lot of land and put on a lot of palm oil, and then you have a plant which takes the palm oil out. So it's a very basic business. As you see, most of our investments are geared towards technology around there. So it didn't fit that sort of strategy that we had, which was a commodity-oriented business, whereas we are focused on agriculture and food from a technology sort of mindset. So that is, I just want to make it very clear. It wasn't about palm oil. It's nothing to do with palm oil's issues around haze here in Singapore. We believe the asset we own was probably the best asset, was a quality asset and a reference asset for every other developer in the region to replicate what they were doing. Now palm oil has got a lot of negative publicity, right? And I think the negative publicity is because essentially new palm oil plantations are coming up in areas which are very rich, virgin rainforest associated with that. Now that obviously is a concern for anybody, because we don't have enough forests, and if you're chopping out forests to do that, we obviously don't believe that should be done. Having said that, a defense for palm oil industry is that it also is one of the most efficient sources of oil that can be produced. So soybean oil, rapeseed oil, which is prevalent in Europe, are not as efficient. Palm oil is very efficient, just unfortunately only can be growing in certain belts around the world, which have been quite rich in rainforests as well. So that's the dichotomy on the palm oil debate. We think this is an industry that will have decent returns, but it's not for Temasek to be investing into this industry. We do have some exposure into that through our investment in Olam, which has certain palm oil assets in Gabon as well as in other parts of Africa.
I would like to know, from your observation or experience to working with these startups and agri-food businesses, what are the major challenges these days? Are they related to technical side, or is it related to how they deliver the product to the market? What are the major challenges for them to building their business?
Right. So again, it's a very nuanced view, but I would say there are three challenges for companies in the food and agricultural space. I think the first one is that even if they get the product market strategy right in one country, each country is very different. And so, unlike the digital revolution, where if you come up with an Apple iPhone, probably going to work in every other market, and you can have the right choice of partner. It'll work in Europe and it'll work in US. So when it comes to food or even upstream agriculture, the product market strategy is very, very country specific. In food, it is cuisine. So that creates a